ओके, लक्ष्मी आप क्यों सीखना चाहती हैं?
Hello, sir. Even I am a clinician.
ओके।
So patients, when we ask them, like some people are receptive, so they just go with our advice. But some people are like they resist. Is this doctor having some vested interest in, getting money out of me or hurting me or injuring me? It's like we are Malayalis, like we are from Kerala. So the people with the maximal critical thinking is our people. So to put something into their mind, it is like you have to jump many hurdles.
ओके।
So that is like it's like I don't know. This is only example I can say. Like we have to jump many hurdles to put the fact into their mind. They'll be all receptive, like outside actually, but they won't go ahead.
ओके।
So that is one thing. And second thing is like I want to heal myself also, sir. I have been like kind of 20 kgs extra, so I just want to do self hypnosis for healing. And
ओके।
I sometimes get panic attacks, so that also I have not taken any treatment for that, for the reason that I want to heal it naturally.
ओके।
So those are the reasons, sir.
So we'll learn uh, what we call suggestibility here, and suggestibility is a
Mm,
big factor in how people take suggestions, and
mm,
it would clarify, what your observation in terms of why you say that some people are receptive to your suggestions that you're giving and some people are not so receptive. Then we'll see that in action. As far as your self-healing and hypnosis is, that would be taken care of. We'll discuss about how things work, how suggestions work, how can you can self-suggest. So all that would be great.
okay.
And Prashant, I can't see if you have connected via your audio, I guess, is not there.
Hello?
Prashant, are you there?
Yeah,
Bakul,
I
are
can
you
hear
there?
you.
Oh, हाँ जी बकुल, आप क्यों सीखना चाहते
सर
हैं?
मेरा था डिप्रेशन में था डिप्रेशन था मेरा थोड़ा सा।
ओके। ओके, ठीक है।
इसलिए सर।
तो डिप्रेशन के बारे में भी बात करेंगे हम और देखेंगे कि
ठीक है सर।
कैसे दूर हो सकता है, डेफिनेटली।
ठीक है सर।
व्हाट अबाउट यू प्रशांत? I can't hear you. I think there's some audio issue. Yep, now I can, I guess.
Hello.
So my question is, why do you want to learn hypnosis?
I'm just fascinated about this from my childhood time, and I just want to learn this.
Great. That's a good reason. That's how I started actually. I was fascinated by influence and how to influence people, and that's my how my journey started. Perfect, no worries. So we'll quickly go back, learn what hypnosis is all about.
Yes, sir.
And I'll formally welcome you to Mindscape, the workshop where you can actually learn to modify your reality. What we're going to do in next 3 days is we'll do a lot of foundational work. We'll do some introduction to hypnosis. देखेंगे हम hypnosis कैसे है और क्या काम करता है. एंशियंट ट्रेडिशन वर्सेस मॉडर्न अप्रोच, पुराने समय में क्या अप्रोच रही एंशियंट टाइम में और मॉडर्न टाइम में क्या अप्रोच है. और एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज, थ्योरी ऑफ माइंड. वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कॉन्सेप्ट इज द थ्योरी ऑफ माइंड अकॉर्डिंग टू द वर्ल्ड व्यू ऑफ हिप्नोसिस. हिप्नोसिस के हिसाब से दुनिया कैसे चलती है, दिमाग कैसे चलता है, दैट इज व्हाट थ्योरी ऑफ माइंड इज. and we'll take some live things, question answers and everything else. Day 2 में will अगर day 1 में will move, then we'll understand and apply hypnotic techniques. We'll look at the legal framework, principles of suggestibility. We'll understand pre-talk, and we'll do some question and answer. Day 2, more applications of hypnosis things. Master the hypnotist theory of mind. Again, we'll revisit. And then, so each day triggers, anchors, professional development practice, question and answers. This is how we are going to work out. So first things first, what exactly is hypnosis? So simple सादे शब्दों में we are going to learn what hypnosis is all about. And I will ask you to keep aside anything that you have learned from anywhere else, for at least today. कल से question कर लेंगे. आज will just go by the view that I am creating. Hypnosis is a personal experience where you are in a state of focused attention and you are ready to experience things and make changes. It is as simple as that. So hypnosis could be with eyes open, with eyes closed, with lying down, talking to somebody over a cup of chai, in a crowded train, in a bar. It could be anywhere. As long as the person you're interacting with has ability to understand the instructions. अगर instructions समझ सकता है कोई, तो वो hypnosis में जा सकता है. अगर आप उसे instruct कर सकते हैं inward attention के लिए, वो hypnosis में जा सकता है. So anybody who can do an inward attention can experience hypnosis. So very simple, nothing complicated. Hypnosis is one of the easiest thing to understand because it's suggestion. और बचपन से हम suggestions लेते आए हैं किसी ना किसी तरीके से. We are always open to suggestions because that is the key to survival. प्रेस मत छूना क्योंकि गर्म है और तुम जल जाओगे. Do not go into deep water, other you don't know how to swim and you can drown. This is a suggestion only, a warning, a suggestion that tells you the dangers. And if we don't follow, we might get into trouble. So everything that we interact with is a suggestion. We choose to accept some suggestions and we choose to reject some suggestions. As Lakshmi was talking about, there are patients who will say yes, 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 but inside their mind, they're saying no, 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 why this? The doctor wants to make money and everything else. That's what we are talking about. That you are giving them suggestion and they are rejecting it. Sometimes you're giving them suggestion and they are accepting it. The example that we have seen are so easy. We have done those exercises. Now we'll do a simple exercise of how clearly you follow suggestions. पहले मैं इंग्लिश में बोलूंगा, फिर मैं हिंदी में बोलूंगा. जो आपको फॉलो करना है वो कर ले आप, है ना? So we'll let Prashant come back and then. So it's the simplest test that we can do. Simplest test is what we called eye catalepsy. Eye catalepsy means I would be in cataleptic state. और कोई ज्यादा मेहनत नहीं करनी इसके लिए। हमें देखना है, इसके 3 ही आउटकम हो सकते हैं। आई कैटलेप्सी टेस्ट कैन हैव ओनली 3 आउटकम्स। One, the person will open the eye, which is fine, which means they are not exactly following the instructions and they are questioning the instructions. Two, the eyes would remain shut. And when you'll ask them, how was the experience? They'll say, I could have opened it anytime, which is also fine. And three, you'll have a person, the person would say, I could not open it even when I tried. Okay. The first 2 cases are perfectly fine. The third is also perfectly fine. The third would fall into a category where we say is emotionally suggestible person. The first category is the physically suggestible person. The second category person is somewhere between the emotionally suggestible and physically suggestible. इन दोनों के बीच का है वो पर्सन। ठीक है, तो हम आई कैटलेप्सी एक्सरसाइज करेंगे। First, I'll do in English, then I'll do it in Hindi, and then we go forward. So we'll start with English. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Focus on your breath. Notice the temperature of the air that you breathe in. Notice the temperature of the air that you breathe out. And notice as you notice the temperature that you breathe in and you breathe out, the deeper you breathe, the more relaxed you are, and the more relaxed you are, the deeper you breathe. That's right. Allow your mind and body to relax. I'll be giving you some simple instructions and you can choose to follow it. That's right. So in a moment, not right now, but in a moment, I'll say 1. And at that time, I want you to relax your eyelids. And I want you to relax your eyelids to this extent that they would be so heavy as if you can't lift them to that point. 2, when I'll say 2, all the under eye muscles would be so relaxed that you will simply not be able to open them. And when I'll say 3, you'll wait. And then you'll notice that you cannot open your eyes without breaking that relaxation. And then I'll say, try harder, and you'll try opening your eyes, and still you will not be able to open your eyes without breaking that relaxation. That's right. 1, eyelids heavy, as if made from metal and lead. 2, under eye muscles gone. And 3, you cannot open them without breaking the relaxation. That's right. Try opening your eyes. And the harder you try, the more difficult it becomes. Try opening, try harder, try a bit more harder, and stop trying. And as you stop trying, let this relaxation build up and go down from your head to toe, relaxing you deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper. And as you relax deeper and deeper, you somehow know the next 3 days you learn. And everything you learn in the next 3 days is going to be staying inside your mind. You'll be able to practice it. You'll be able to do it. You'll be able to learn it, recall it whenever you want. And for no reason at all, you've given the permission to feel good. That's right. And in a moment, not right now, but in a moment, I'll say 1, 2, 3. At 3, you can open your eyes and feel really good about it. 1, 2, and 3. Open your eyes and share your experience. हाँ जी, who would like to share the experience?
Sir, I couldn't open my eyes, so I'm very emotionally suggestible.
No, you couldn't open your eyes, na?
No.
You are a physically suggestible person.
आपने बोला कि फर्स्ट में जो आता है उसको फिजिकली नहीं
First is if they simply open their eyes, they are emotionally suggestible. Second is people who would say yes, they were like, yeah, they knew they could open it, but they decided not to open it. Those are between. And then third is a physically suggestible person, which is, and so there's a good news for physically suggestible people is that they take fewer sessions to make changes as compared to emotionally suggestible people. So they make faster changes, that all. Anybody else? Yes. In fact, everybody, because there are 4 of us, so we can all, yeah, Prashant. What was your category? So Bhaji, Bakul, anybody would else like to share?
I could not open the eyes.
So was it you could not or you felt कि you could if you would want to? बीच में थे या एकदम कहाँ पे थे?
नहीं, कोशिश करने पे भी खुल नहीं पा रही थी।
कोशिश तो आप अगेन यू आर फिजिकली सजेस्टेबल. ठीक है, थैंक्स. बकुल, वेयर वर यू? बकुल जी, आपके साथ क्या हो रहा था? खुल रही थी, लग रहा था खोल सकते हैं कि बिल्कुल नहीं खुली?
खुल सकता है सर, मेरा खुल गया सर.
खुल गया था. तो ये बकुल जो है वो हो गए इमोशनली सजेस्टेबल, क्योंकि मैं अभी बताऊंगा क्या इंस्ट्रक्शन था, है ना? प्रशांत, व्हाट हैपेंड टू यू?
Yeah, I was. It was ready for me to. It was. I was ready to open.
Yeah, you were ready to open. So Prashant is somewhere in between. So great. We have all 3 categories here. Great. That's good. So we can practice everything. So each one of you would have a different experience. The physically suggestible people, they can make their thoughts their reality. So every suggestion that comes in, they can accept that suggestion. As soon as they accept that suggestion, वो उनका reality हो जाता है. For somebody like Prashant, they can choose what suggestion to accept and how to act on it. So he said, okay, for now I am accepting it and I will question it later. Let me go through the experience. I know I can open my eyes, but I will not open it as of now. ऐसा कुछ है. Then you had Bakul. Bakul was, I opened my eyes because I am emotionally suggestible. I would question everything. अगर आप देखेंगे तो क्या मैंने आपको दिया था सजेशन? You will not be able to open your eyes without breaking the relaxation. है ना? तो वो तो बड़ा, अगर आप खोलोगे इसका मतलब रिलैक्सेशन नहीं है. तो आपने फॉलो किया, उतना बकुल ने किया, उसको क्वेश्चन किया कि मेरी आंखें तो भारी हो ही नहीं रही हैं, ना ही मेरे ये नीचे मसल वीक हुए, एंड आई कैन ओपन माय आई. सो इन ए रियल वर्ल्ड सिनेरियो, ऑल 3 टाइप ऑफ पीपल कैन कोएग्जिस्ट, बट फर्क कोई नहीं है. बकुल के ऊपर भी थेरेपी काम करेगा, लक्ष्मी के ऊपर भी करेगा, सुभाष जी पे भी करेगा, एंड प्रशांत पे भी करेगा. एवरीबडी कैन be worked on in hypnosis or self-hypnosis. So there are about only 2% of people that you cannot work with. उसमें 1-1.5% people are those who have 0.000 visualization. They cannot visualize. And then 0.5% is extremely emotionally suggestible people who are always in a state of paranoia that somebody is going to do something to them. So anyway, they are questioning everything. They're questioning their reality. They're anyway hypnotize themselves to such an extent कि उनको दूसरे तरीके से treat करना पड़ता है. But for about 98% of population, you can work. You would have about 30% people who are highly physically suggestible. You'll have about 30% of the people who are emotionally suggestible to the various level. And then you'll have about 40% people who are right there in between, and you can work with them both the ways. Yeah. Great. Now let's move forward now that we have understood what this is all about. So before we go anywhere else, we'll look at the modern history of hypnosis. तो वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड के हिसाब से it started with Franz Frederick Anton Mesmer. The person, he's an Austrian person, started practicing in Paris. And the word mesmerize is derived from his name. Mesmerize. Mesmerize means somebody is spellbound. Somebody is following your instructions. There are few other basic things that you need to know that, as late as 1892, British Medical Association recognized as a formal form of therapy. One of the, figures that we say, you have Sigmund Freud, who derived psychoanalysis. But people will be focusing on is who are framing the modern day hypnosis. But that's a little bit later. पहले ये देखेंगे. Most of the conversational side of hypnosis comes from Milton S. Erickson. In the current world, in this latest generation, hypnosis is famous as a name as NLP or Neuro Linguistic Programming. Richard Bandler and John Grinder studied 10 hypnotherapists, came up with the ways to hypnotize people, but they called it Neuro Linguistic Programming. The hypnosis, the name itself comes from Greek goddess Hypno, which means sleep. So to begin with, everyone thought hypnosis is sleep, which is not. But everyone thought so, which is fine. Because the state of suggestions caused some relaxation, which looked like sleep. तो क्योंकि ऐसा लगता था सो रहे हैं, तो सबने उसे हिप्नो यानी गॉडेस हिप्नो से स्टेट ऑफ बीइंग इन स्लीप कर दिया. पर ऐसा नहीं है. हिप्नोसिस इज नॉट इन स्लीप. जब अभी हम आपके ऊपर कर रहे थे, यू वर टोटली अवेयर ऑफ व्हाट वाज हैपनिंग. वॉन्ट यू वर राइट. परफेक्ट. अगर हम ट्रेडिशन देखेंगे, इंडियन ट्रेडिशन देखेंगे, तो योगा में इसका मेंशन है. वी हैव समथिंग सिमिलर कॉल्ड सम्मोहन, वशीकरण. एंड इन योगिक पार्लेंस, ध्यान धारणा समाधि is what gets you into a state of trance. And that state is very similar to what we do in hypnosis. Gaze power बढ़ाने के लिए त्राटक करते हैं, but now in modern times we say use your words. They are very powerful. In Egypt, there was a tradition of taking people into temple of sleep. Their rhythmic drums would be played, people would be made to sleep, and then the suggestions were given. There are shamans in Amazon, not Egypt, who used musical rhythms The fakirs or worldling Sufis in Islam. You have monks and priests in Christianity. So it doesn't really matter what religion you are from. There is some background, there's some history of hypnosis in every religion, every tradition. नाम अलग है, करने का तरीका बिल्कुल सेम है. अब हम टेक्स्ट बुक डेफिनेशन पे आ जाते हैं इसकी. इट्स a state of human consciousness, involved focused attention, enhanced capacity to respond to suggestions, and reduced. Actually reduced तो लिखा हुआ है, but I feel ये इतना ज्यादा होता नहीं है. Peripheral awareness is enhanced anyway. And this goes really well. Allow yourself to see what you don't allow yourself to see. So in the end, I am not doing the hypnosis. You are experiencing it. You are doing it on yourself. All hypnosis is self-hypnosis. There's nothing else to it. We can talk about 20 different things, 20 different methods, but in the end, if you don't want to get hypnotized, there's a very, very difficult path ahead for the therapist. If you don't want to make the change, it will be very difficult for somebody to make you change. आपके लिए बहुत बहुत दिक्कत होगी, मेरे लिए या किसी के लिए भी, जब आप प्रैक्टिस कर रहे होगे. If somebody doesn't want to change and you're trying to hypnotize them. Now something very, very important. Theory of mind. Hypnosis worldview में how mind works. Okay. Well, so let's talk about where exactly we are coming from. Okay. Just give me a minute. Let me look at what all we can cover. Perfect. So basically, theory of mind talks about mind, something which is different from what doctors call brain. So brain is your hardware and there's some software. Where is it? No idea where is it. Is it inside the mind? Maybe. Is it outside the mind? Possibly. But mind is something bigger than brain. और mind के multiple areas है. One is your conscious mind, which is you're always aware of things. There's something in between what we called as a critical factor, critical area, barrier between the conscious and the subconscious. Then there's a subconscious mind. And there's some people even, divide it further, calling it, there's even super conscious. There's, more divisions to it, but it really does not matter. What we need to understand, we need to simply understand two divisions. One is the conscious mind and one is the subconscious mind. That is all. I'll give you an example right now. We are all sitting. How many of us are aware that we're wearing clothes? How many of us can feel it on our skin? None of us. But now if I ask you to take your attention and feel your clothes on your body, you'll suddenly start to feel it. So
सही है.
conscious mind is there. It is the operating version when you interact with reality. But conscious mind also applies filters and distortions, because it will not help you to be aware of your clothes all the time. What does conscious mind does? It creates a distortion filter. So you are wearing them, but you become unaware of it. Another example. How many times we pick up phone and look at our phones? Hundreds and thousands of time a day. But do we remember the time every time we look at a phone? It's right there in our face. The clock is there. We don't remember. Especially देखना पड़ता है time के लिए. Oh, let's see what the time is. What has happened here is your conscious mind has created a perception filter. मुझे ये information नहीं चाहिए. If you drive and if you go out, how many of you noticed a red car on the street? But there are red cars. There are blacks also. There are whites also. But we simply learn to distort, take the information out, which is not relevant. So can we trust our senses in what information comes in? We actually cannot, because there's a distortion to all the information that is coming in. Kuch filters apply ho rahe hain. We have so many theories. We have, confirmation bias theory. If you already know something, you will only end up confirming by collecting all the facts, because you'll keep ignoring the facts which does not confirm with what you know. Now, let's expand it a little further. Why does our conscious mind does it? That it distorts and deletes certain information? Because the processing capacity of conscious mind is limited by the hardware that we have, that is the brain. Now, roughly 20 information units to 100 information units is what our brain can process. I will not go into detail what those information units are, but it'll give you some idea that all our five senses are looking at millions of information units at any given point of time. Now, if everything that would need to be processed by the limited hardware that we have, what will happen? Freeze. Overheat हो जाएगा, काम करना बंद कर देगा. We don't want that. And so, because its survival is at stake, we start to filter out things. Now that we've filtered out things, how would I remember my experiences? So I remember my experiences by attaching a very, very simple unit to it called an emotion. Every emotion that I have is attached to a memory or the information that I have. That's it. Now let's do an exercise. We'll know how we store the information. I'll mute you, no worries. So it'll not. So this exercise will show you how we do it. I'll ask you to look in your left hand. Imagine you have a television here, and it could be a colored, it could be a black and white television. And I'll ask you to bring out a memory which brings out a negative feeling inside you. It could be anger, it could be irritation, it could be just be in that event, be in that time, take it out, take that feeling out. Look at it as if it's really happening. Start looking at it. Look at it as if it's really happening. That's right. Notice on that TV that it's happening. Go deep into it. And you will notice that as you remember the details of that event, उसके किस तरह से डिटेल आ रहे हैं हमें याद. It really does not matter, because what is important here is the emotion that is generating. You have that emotion now when you think about that event. So I want you to look at your right hand now, and in this television, think of something nice, something wonderful, something pleasant. An event where you were there. Experience it. Bring that emotion out. Bring that emotion of joy and happiness out. Joy, happiness, pleasure, whatever that is. Now look at your left hand. Look at your right hand. Look at your left hand. Look at your right hand. And now copy this emotion of joy, pleasure from your right hand to your left hand. Paste it. Copy and paste it. Like this. Paste it. Paste it. And rub it, rub it, rub it. Give it some time till this emotion is totally over this event that used to cause you irritation or anger or anything. Paste it. Perfect. Now look at that event and see what happens. Notice what happens. Are you able to get that old feeling back? You won't. In case you are able to get it, paste more. But you won't be able to get it back. हाँ जी सुभाष जी.
हाँ नहीं, मुझे बाद में अच्छी फीलिंग वाली चीज तो ध्यान में आई.
हाँ.
जो मिस हैपनिंग थी वो उसका ध्यान नहीं आया.
एग्जैक्टली. तो हम यही एक्सपेरिमेंट दिखा रहे थे कि एवरी इंसिडेंट that we have is a memory with an emotion. That is all. Now let's do an exercise. आपका कोई जानने वाला है, somebody knows you, and imagine them coming to you and telling you that they've lost their job, they lost their house, and they're actually telling you this. And how are you feeling about it? Imagine in detail as you can and see how it makes you feel. How does that make you feel? I can see all the faces like going down, experiencing the sad feelings. But is it real? So is our future real? Because future is nothing but projection of our thought that something will happen, this will or that would happen. Something good makes us happy. Something bad makes us sad. So now if you look at it, we have a past which is nothing but a memory with a emotion. We have a future which is nothing but a projected memory with an emotion. That is all. The only real thing we have is now, right now. And that, if we can control using hypnosis, we can change. We cannot change now, but we can very well change the past, because we can change the emotions attached with the past, and we can change the future. Now imagine the same person coming to you and then telling you, April Fool, I was just joking to you. Yeah, caught you. What happened? The feeling immediately changed, even though nothing real happened, but it still gave you a relief. Oh, great. This story has a good ending. And where was that story happening? Right inside our mind. So we're dealing with one of the most powerful tools that we have. And in 3 days, that is what we're going to do. Learn how to utilize our mind to give ourselves or others the suggestions to make our life and their life better. छोटा सा हमारा मोटिव है 3 दिन का, and we'll keep doing that. Great. Let me move further. Yes. This is what we need to understand, that between the conscious and the subconscious is the critical factor. Now, this critical factor determines whether we are physically suggestible or emotionally suggestible. If our critical factor moves quickly, doesn't question much, we become physically suggestible. If it is slow, it questions everything that comes in, it becomes emotionally suggestible. And the whole consciousness has your belief systems, your perceptions, your distortions are all stored in either conscious or subconscious. Everything is right there. Why I'm saying so, why it is important to learn it, why it is important to know, is an interesting fact that we are born with only 2 fears. One is fear of height and fear of loud noises. That's all. Every other fear that we have is an acquired fear. So we can acquire fears. That's perfectly fine. Can we acquire being rich? Yes, we can. Because that's again is something which is a belief system that we have. Can we learn? Can we believe to change the way our body look? Yes, we can. Can we be more confident? Yes, we can be. Can we be less anxious? Yes, we can be less anxious. There's so many things that we can do if we follow simple rules of mind and understand how our mind works. After all, the sole purpose of the conscious and subconscious mind is to keep us safe and keep us alive. That is all. So any behavior that we are doing, as far as our mind is concerned, it is doing that behavior to keep either give you pleasure or protection. That's all. दो ही बेसिस होते हैं हमारे सारे बिहेवियर्स के, pleasure or protection, pleasure or protection. No third motive. बड़े primitive हैं हम, चाहे कितने भी इवॉल्व हो जाए, these are the two basics behavior that we'll have. Okay, we already did that practical exercise. Okay. Till now, anything that you are not able to understand, we'll do a Q&A. Any questions till now about what we taught or generally about hypnosis or anything else? Good. But if you have any questions at any point of time, please feel free to ask. This is the next important slide that you should all know. In India, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India has issued a letter which states that hypnotherapy is a recommended mode of therapy in India to be practiced only by appropriately trained personnel. Now, good or bad, as things may be, there's no definition of appropriately trained personnel. So anybody can be an appropriately trained personnel. It does not specify how long you have to train, how good you have to train, what is the kind of practice you have to do. It always says that it has to be appropriately trained personnel, and it allows you to do therapy after that. In most of the countries, especially in Europe and US, in UK, it is covered under your medical insurance. So you can actually go to a hypnotherapist to take sessions and that insurance will pay for it. Same in US and some of the states, it is there. In those countries, it is as a hypnotherapy is practiced, you are supposed to form a business, get a liability coverage, and be affiliated to any organization, a board, which is basically a board. In India, nothing is there. You can be on your own and do what you want. Like it or not, that's the status. Now we'll come back to suggestibility. Physically suggestible or emotionally suggestible. You've seen the example, but again, I want to emphasize what it is. Physically suggestible people will have more control over emotions, which means if they have a heartache, they can manage. But if it's a pinprick in the finger, that's the problem. Whereas an emotionally suggestible person is just the opposite. They have more control over the physical aspect. So they can endure pain more. Well, when somebody says something in a loud voice, they might get upset. Or even that, the expression, they are the ones who notice every expression on the face of the person they're interacting with. They pick up all the minor non-verbal clues. Whereas the physical suggestible person, they are like, okay, oh, really? Was he? What's the tone? Tone? Oh, it was normal. I don't see anything in the tone. But the emotionally suggestible person would pick up the tone. They'll pick up the non-verbal clues, how the eyes went, how everything went. They are very good at it.
Sir, I
Yes.
want to, I'm confused with this slide because, like, even though I have the features of physically suggestible person, this emotional control to मेरे से नहीं होगा. Like people say, I cannot take people, like even now the bad thing you wanted ask me, and I was even now I'm telling I'm feeling bad about that, and because I can just sense it in their voice. I can sense it in their action, and it's
Okay.
like I am a mix up of both.
Yeah.
And I
So,
can read people, and I can understand. They don't even have to speak. I can understand them just
okay.
like that,
So that
and it is a mystery.
now there's a bit of difference when we look at this thing as from the point of view of Western science and when you look at from the Eastern science. So Western science would tell you that you are somebody who's you are basically in between physical and emotional. So you carry both characteristics.
Yeah.
Whereas if you look at the Eastern science, they'll say the Eastern side would say you are an empath. You can connect to people.
Empath. Yeah.
So yeah, you still
Yeah.
a physically suggestible person, but you have this additional characteristics, your sixth sense, which the Western world doesn't recognize. We stop at the five things. But if you look at the Eastern part,
Yeah.
the sixth sense comes in. We say, okay, you have that also developed. We'll talk about it in during this thing. But so as far as we are concerned, you are a combination of a physically suggestible and emotionally suggestible person, which is fine. Suggestibility, as simple as the willingness to accept and act upon a suggestion. That's it. Nothing else. So if I say, Lakshmi, open your camera, I've given you a
We to
suggestion.
have. Yeah.
And now you can accept that or reject that. I can say, Prashant, show me a V. Prashant can show me a V or not. It's so we have this process where everything which is coming in, we are deciding whether to accept it or not, accept it or not, accept it or not. That's a constant process which is going on. That is why you have patients who are on the face of it saying, yes, 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 doctor, yes, you are right. Yes, you are right. But at the back of mind, no, 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 that process is running. They are not willing to accept and act upon a suggestion. So there are ways to increase the suggestibility. We'll talk about it. Okay. Okay, we'll take it in a little bit later, but we'll talk about how to increase suggestibility. If people like you, are they more suggestible to you?
Yes.
So one way is to act where people would like. So of course, you'll be more people would like what you're suggesting. Second is what we call is rapport building. Now, how you build rapport with someone is, first of all, work in their belief system. I'll take an example. I was working with a case. I got a call during COVID. There was a girl, she called and said, my mother is started abusing and hitting people for no reason at all. She was 40, business background, religious beliefs. And what I typically do is when I sense there's a need I asked them to go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist. So that's what I did. I said, you first go to either a psychiatrist or a psychologist, talk to the doctor and then talk to me, and then let me know what happens. So they went and they talked, and then I said, okay, fair enough. How's it going? He said, no, nothing, still hitting and abusing. I said, okay, send me the prescription. Let's see what they advised. I basically wanted to see what the diagnosis is. And the diagnosis was religious dissociated identity disorder. But fair enough. That's a good case. Come over. So the mom, the father, and the daughter came, and we started the session. And we started exploring how it started happening. And I took her into a trance, and then we were exploring. And she went back to a time when she went to one of those mazars. And that was the point where she felt that something has entered her body and her behavior changed. So I said, okay, let's talk to that something that entered your body. And we start, okay. I said, it's nothing. It's like, whatever your thought is, just tell me. So we started talking to that person, and that person said, yes, I am here. And I said, okay, why do you make her hit people? I said, no, I am not the one who makes her hit the people. I only ask her to abuse the people. There's another guy who makes her hit the people. And I said, great, perfect. So we have none of us inside the mind. And said, fair enough, let's talk to that guy also. So we started talking to both of them for about hour and a half, 2 hours. We couldn't find any resolution. They were not ready to, leave or go out, and still there. And then I said, okay, we figured out somehow they all believed into what is, in Bombay, Haji Ali Baba. There's a famous mazar there. And then we said, okay, invoke for Haji Ali Baba and ask him to be here. And Haji Ali Baba came. And when he came, we simply requested, like, Haji Ali Baba, these guys are there. They are your disciples and they're troubling this lady. She's also your disciple. What is the matter? Like, sir, please, requesting you to take care of this kind of scenario. And he said, okay, idiots or whatever, get lost. And bang, she opened her eyes. She said, okay, I'm fine. And that's it. A week later, I got a message from her daughter. Everything's fine. Mom is back to normal. A year later, I got a message from her daughter saying, I never used to believe in such things. And now I do. Now, why I'm telling you the story is working within the belief system of the persons. Had she told me that there's something inside or taken her possession, and I would have said, there's nothing like spirits, demons, and possessions, and this is just your imagination, would the therapy work? A lot. So we have to exactly know what the belief system of the person that we're dealing with. If the belief system of the person that we're dealing with is that all the doctors are out there to luto them, that we'll have to, work in that this guy would think that way. How do we address that is something else that we need to reiterate, we need to reinforce through suggestions, through talking, that this is not how we are. And because we do this. Because is one of the most important things. Because we are trained to respond to because. बचपन में मम्मा क्या कहती थी? Because I'm telling you, just eat it. Because I'm telling you, just drink it. Superiors क्या करते हैं authority में? I'm telling you, just do it. Because I'm telling you, just do it. You don't have to question everything. So over a period of time, we are trained to respond to anything with because, partially accepted, sometimes even fully accepted. So you can simply say, yes, I know, the doctors who are out there to get patients, but we're not because we do this, 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 this. This could be anything, any stupid reason, doesn't really matter, but it would work. Same way Prashant can say, same way Dr. Subhash can say, anything is possible as long as we use it in the right context. Work within the belief system. Rapport. How do we get the rapport? Is actually, your profession, the doctors, they don't really need to build the rapport. If they can be simply nice, they already have a rapport. अरे डॉक्टर साहब ने मेरे से प्यार से बात कर ली. That is more than enough to, listening to the patient, because you already are an authority in their mind. For everybody else, for people like me, we have to build the authority. Until unless we build the authority, our suggestions will not work. Perfect. Again, when we say how we get a good rapport is, if we are in an agitated state, the person that we are interacting with would be in agitated state. So make sure whenever you're dealing with people, be in a calm state. Moving forward, we'll understand some laws of suggestibility. This is the theory that I'm talking about. If you can, it's very simple. अभी तक जो हमने बात करी, it's very simple. If you can understand, it's great. It is not only the basis of hypnosis, that is, if you master it, you can master anything else. We'll talk about that also. Perfect. Let me just give you. So when we look at the first law, it is the law of the reverse reaction. Simply put, we just explored it, we just experienced it. बहुत ज्यादा ध्यान देने की जरूरत नहीं है, थोड़ा थोड़ा. Your eyes are stuck, you cannot open them. The harder you try, the tighter they become. हमने क्या किया? दूसरे पार्ट को कैसे लाइट किया? By adding the word try. By adding the word, forcing the word cannot. Because try has an implied meaning of failure. If you ask a person to do something for you and if he says he will or she will try, how do you feel? क्या आता है मन में ख्याल? बॉस या तो लेट होगा या होगा नहीं. ट्राई करता हूं सर, आपको सीट दिलवा दूंगा मैं, बट मैं ट्राई करता हूं. Now you're sure you're not getting it. But if the person says, yes, I'll get it for you, now you know you will get it. So try. So you make a suggestion lighter by either making strong wordings, I guarantee you this will work. This instead is a new pill. I don't know. The studies are there that it is better, but I don't know. But this I know, I can guarantee you this. Which one you will choose? You making one part heavier and you making other part easily go away. We do that all the time in our life. It's just that यहाँ पे एक नाम दे दिया उसे law of reverse reaction. Law of repetition, one of the most important laws. और धीरे धीरे प्रैक्टिस करते हुए हम इसे भूल जाते हैं. Let's never ever forget it. Repeat, 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 repeat. Repeat your suggestions, repeat your suggestions, repeat your suggestions. 10 मिनट हम खड़े होते हैं ना तो वो भीख मांग रहा होता है बार बार एंड वी आर लाइक यार दे ही दो इसे कम से कम जाएगा यहां से. But if you keep repeating the same thing, same thing, same thing, same thing, you can trust me, I am number one. Okay, होगा. कैसे ट्रस्ट कर लूं? You can trust me, you can trust me, you can trust me. Okay, probably this guy is trustworthy. You can trust me, you can trust me, you can trust me. And then somebody asks you, is this guy trustworthy? Yeah, I guess he's trustworthy. What happened? You're repeating the same thing again and again and again and again and again and again till the time all the suggestions have been accepted. कोई ना कोई तो accept करेगा. The law of dominance. Again, doctors, they don't have to really bother here. For everybody else, we have to build up an authority. How do people build up authority? Let's take an example. A builder, you're about to buy a property and you go to the builder's office. It's nice, swanky, marble or granite on the floor. Nice, beautiful ambient, people working. Good. And then you meet the next guy, and it's even a bigger office, more opulent. There are awards from various industry organizations displayed on the wall. They are photographed with prominent celebrities and politicians. And they're both offering you the same deal. Who are you most likely to go with? All things being equal. Where you see and perceive authority. Your system, your vision, the way you see it, the way you perceive it, you would. Like in the medical field, at least in Delhi, what happens is, अरे वो डॉक्टर एम्स का है तो अच्छा ही होगा. वाई, क्या पता उसने कुछ ना किया हो एम्स में लेकिन अगर एम्स का है तो अच्छा ही होगा. That's a perceived thing. That's a belief system that already exists. So if you already have an authority, you would dominate. Your suggestions would be accepted much more easily. Rather, if you don't have the authority. Some ways of building authority is telling them that you have worked on the similar cases before, worked in similar situations before, delivered the results before in the same situation. That would be some kind of authority that you can build in. Even our assumptions can accept. So if I assume that the subject will in fact enter deep sleep and becomes a dominant thought, then the subject will accept the questions, this thing without question. We call it congruity. Say as if you actually mean it. You will now experience it because I am telling you to experience it. That's it. That's the way you dominate. Law of association. We saw this happening. We saw our memories being associated with an emotion. The most famous classical conditioning. You guys must have heard of Pavlov. Pavlov was a Russian scientist. He trained a dog. He had a dog. So he would ring a bell, he would get the food out, and the dog would salivate. So the bell is the trigger, the stimulus is the food, and the result is the saliva in the mouth of the dog. In some way, we are all conditioned to respond. So over a period of time, Pavlov would just ring the bell. There would be no food and the dog would still salivate. Why is that? Because there was an association of ringing of the bell with the food and the association of food with the expectancy of food would build up the saliva. Another example, it's a very good one. We experience it. When people experience hypnosis, the next time they visit you in the same chair, they'll experience better. If a subject accepts one suggestion, they'll accept another one, another one, another one, and another one. So our job is to make sure they at least accept one suggestion. Rest is done automatically. Very easy, isn't it? Make sure they just do one suggestion. The law of delayed action, one of the very important laws. Now, I'll give an example and it will be very clear. If I treat somebody for confidence issues and I tell them, give them a session that they can now go and sing on a stage, what would happen? Even though the change has been done, they might not feel like it. Because there's a law of delayed action. When they get into actual scenario, the therapy would take effect. And they'll be able to sing. So just be aware, sometimes when you're doing therapy on yourself, you might feel like not working. And when you're in that situation, it works. Okay. Any questions here? Otherwise, we'll get into some practical stuff. None?
Sometimes mouth publicity also works.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes mouth publicity also works.
Exactly. That is building the authority only. अगर मैं किसी डॉक्टर के पास जा रहा हूं और मैं पूछ के गया, भाई कैसा डॉक्टर है? वो यार बहुत अच्छा है, इस पे तो 2 दवाई में ठीक हो जाते हैं.
हाँ, बिल्कुल ऐसा ही है.
बस अब ठीक होना ही. और आप गए और डॉक्टर ने बोला अरे कुछ नहीं है यार, ये 2 दवाई में दे रहा हूं, 2 डोज में ठीक हो जाएगा तू. And that is what is going to happen. So we call this in hypnosis, we call it, tell them what is going to happen, tell them it is happening, and it will happen. That is all. Crux सारा hypnosis का इस statement में आ जाता है. You set the expectation and tell them it is already happening, and it would. One of the easiest examples, एक खाली पानी की शीशी रख लीजिए और जो कोई आए उससे बोले यार ये किस सेंट आया नया, आई डोंट नो क्या है, कौन सा फ्लावर है, कैन यू स्मेल इट एंड टेल मी। एंड पीपल विल स्मेल एंड गिव यू सम आइडियाज। बहुत फेंट है पर आता है, कुछ नोट आता है। एंड एटलीस्ट 50-60% पीपल वुड स्टार्ट स्मेलिंग एंड गिविंग यू सम आइडिया कि हाँ ये है। Suggestions are very powerful. Religion, politics, full of suggestions. हमारे एक बाबा जी, निर्मल बाबा जी, I don't know how many of you know, but if somebody would go to them and say, uh, बाबा जी जॉब नहीं लग रही है, and they'll say, ओ मंदिर जाते हो? हाँ जी। समोसा खाते हो जब मंदिर जाते हो? हाँ जी खा लेते। तो लाल चटनी से खाते हो या हरी से? मुझे लाल से खाता हूँ। और हरी से खाया करो, लग जाएगी। So now what all he has done is given you a suggestion, given you a hope, and like that we never noticed that red car on the road, the person would now start noticing opportunities for the job. Very simple shift. Out of 100, 50 will get job when they do some effort, and that's it. Yep. Ashok says in South India, there's Puttaparthi Sai Baba and his psychologist and psychiatrist has this. Yeah. See, it's religion is something we are so ingrained with that authority is already there. We also has confirmation bias in case of religion. So we don't question. You look at Christian missionaries, they do a lot of conversion things simply by suggestions. All those effects that you see are pure hypnotic suggestions. Pure hypnotic suggestions. There's a very interesting thing available on YouTube by Darren Brown called Miracles for Sale. If you can see it, watch it. It's he's a hypnotherapist and a mentalist and whatnot, and he's done this show. Amazing show. Now we'll see how we take suggestions, how we work with suggestions. Perfect. Let's go forward. All I want you to do is close your eyes, sit back and relax. One long breath. Second long breath. And third long breath. That's right. Keep listening to the sound of my voice. Any other sound other than the sound of my voice, a sound of everyday natural environment. They're not going to disturb you. They're not going to disturb you in any way. In fact, they'll remind you that you are at safe place. You're completely safe no matter how far inside you travel, no matter how deep inside you go. You will always be able to hear my words, follow my instructions, and obey my commands because you realize that things I say, anything I do, is for you to give you the life and lifestyle that you want, the way you want, by your standards, your definitions. That's right. And in a moment, not right now, but in a moment, I'm going to ask you to focus all your attention in the lids of your eyes. And as you begin to relax those tiny muscles in your eyes, relax them until they're so relaxed that they so don't want to work anymore. Until they're so relaxed, you could not actually open them. And when you're sure that they're so relaxed that they won't open, I want you to give them a test. And then nod with your head, a little movement of head, and we move to the next part of the process. That's right. Perfect. Drifting, dreaming. In a moment, not now, but just in a moment, I would like you to relax your mind like we have been relaxing your body, but in a very different way. In a moment, not right now, but in a moment, I want you to imagine the alphabets backwards, starting with the letter Z. Each and every breath you take, each and every beat of the heart, all I want you to do is completely relax those letters out of your mind. If you will make them smaller, darker, harder to see, turn the volume all the way down, 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 deeper, deeper, deeper down. Obviously, I can't do that for you. Only you can allow this to happen. So when you know they're gone, move ahead. The best part is that you can hear my words and your unconscious now follow my instructions, obey my commands in a way that is right and natural for you and allows you to get the experience that you want, the way you want it. That's right. Now, I'm not sure how your unconscious mind will do that, but it would. In a moment, not right now, but in a moment it would. And I would like you to use your amazing mind. I know that you have, and I'm wondering that you might be able to imagine something for me. I'm curious that you might be able to imagine a place that was so wonderful, so nourishing, so forgiving, so perfect, so safe, in any convincible way that no negativity of any kind can exist there. I'm curious, I'm wondering if you could imagine what a place like that might be. Like, and I'm wondering when you do that, what might you see in that amazing place? What might you hear in that amazing place? What might you feel in that amazing place? What might you smell and taste in that amazing place? Because when you are in that place and you see what you see, you hear what you hear, you feel what you feel, you smell what you smell, and you taste what you taste, there's an amazing, wonderful feeling that lets you know to become aware that there's a place in your body where these wonderful feelings start, where they grow, where they spread from. Take a moment, point to where you feel it. That's right. I would like you to notice that there's a place in your body, there's a color connected to it, that place that represents those amazing feelings that you have. I would like you to imagine, use your imagination. I would like you to notice how the feelings in your body shift and change. As with every breath, you take every beat of your heart and you convert that color into an amazing ball of energy. And that amazing ball of energy begin to glow, begin to take shape, begin to expand, begin to fill your entire being. From the top of your head to the tip of your toes and all points in between. Notice how it begins to radiate, emanate. It's now out of you, like the rays of the sun filling the room from ceiling to floor, from wall to wall, and all the points in between. Notice how it wraps itself around you like an amazing blanket of safety, a cocoon, a shield, a suit. insulating and protecting you from all the negativity and threats, real or imagined. And at the same time, flooding your mind, flooding your body, flooding your spirit with everything it most wants, with everything it most needs, in an infinite, ever expanding, unlimited supply. And when you know you got that, take a deep breath. And as you breathe, it fills your entire being. Let it fill you like water fills up a bottle, like a fluid fills up a test tube, like hydrogen or helium fills up a balloon. Anchor it so fully, so complete that no force in the universe can turn it off or take it away, not even you. When you realize it's true, test it. Try to turn it off, try to make it go away, and notice what happens instead. That's right. When you're satisfied, stop testing and let that energy flow through you for all the right reasons. Just listen to the sound of my voice. Let the conscious take the words and apply them to their own, in its own time and its own ways. As many of my clients and students tell me that as this energy works, it's way deeper. They begin to feel the tightening of tension, and it begins to melt and dissolve away. Those points begin to melt and dissolve. It's like the chain locking inside that body are simply somehow released. Scan your body. Notice any place that is holding density, tightness, or tension. Let this new powerful, safe energy flow through those areas like hot water flowing over ice cubes. Notice as those areas begin to melt and dissolve. And in that place, anything that you need or want or desire instead, it's there. Take a moment, allow. You release spirit to flow out of your body, allow that to beam deeper and deeper. And as you float up out of that body and you join that energy, you get a sense of coming home. It is almost as if that part of the spirit that was locked prisoner inside that body is somehow set free. As they merge back into that energy, like a drop of water merging back into ocean from which it came. They feel a sense of reunion, empowerment, of becoming more fully connected to the totality of their being, one with the source. Others shall retain their sense of identity, the sense of who. That's right. And for all the right reasons, as you go deeper into that space, you can become aware, because sometimes they tell me they become aware of the little points of light at a distance. And that light gets brighter and brighter, and that's moving towards you in the space. It's so bright and you can still look at it. And that's a ball of light. And you take it and you place it right under your navel. Whoosh. Feel the surge of energy going through your body as you keep it under your navel. It's filling you up. Like the water fills up a test tube, the helium fills up a balloon. That's right. You're making the changes that you want. You can get the body shape that you want. You get the wealth that you want. You want the mindset that you want. You get everything what you want with this energy deep inside you, resonating, humming, filling you up, swelling inside you, all that anxiety, all that depression, all that pain, fear, every limiting belief is now gone. As it fills you up, swells you up, wells you up. Notice it begins to go out, glow out of your body. As you drift back into your body, you notice that wherever you go, whatever you do, this energy keeps floating out of you always and always, always and always, always and always. It is changing people around you. They're more receptive. You're more charming. You're more attractive. People listen to you. You are the authority. You listen to yourself, and everybody else listens to you. That's right. And I want you to visualize, imagine that how powerful that feeling is. The life that you want, the lifestyle that you want, your standards, your definitions, and you have it now. That energy as it's surging through you, it changes each and every quality the subconscious would notice and make those changes now. And in a moment, not right now, but in a moment, I'll count from 1 to 5. And at 5, you'll open your eyes, feeling really, really great about it. 1, the changes that you made are totally permanent. 2, that ball of energy is going to be there forever with you inside you, changing things for you that you would not know, but you will begin to notice over a period of time. 3, mind, body, and soul, all integrated. 4, coming back to reality. And 5, you can open your eyes when you feel like. Oh, how was your experience? I could only see Prashant and Subhash ji doing it, so I don't know. But if you were part of it, let me know. How was it?
It was good. Suggestions were good, but like I was actually disturbed by some thoughts. So that was there because of some recent things. So it was a kind of disturbed, but I could visualize all these things and I could feel all those things, but not to the 100% is what I feel.
Perfect, perfect. That's fine. Because the setting that we are operating in is not very conducive to you. You probably are sitting someplace, you're aware there are people around and all that. So that does make you a little bit conscious of experiencing it completely, but that's fine. So whenever we are under hypnotic trance, we are fully aware. And the suggestions that I'm giving you, there's a part of it which is hidden, as we call them embedded suggestions. And those are the actual suggestions that we're working on. Rest are visualization. So you're visualizing, the actual suggestions are doing their work separately. As we do the 3 days, we'll learn how to do that. So it was a very small piece of taking somebody down, giving them an induction of the breath, and giving them suggestions. This suggestion is basically going to change your subconscious into getting a life or a lifestyle the way you want it. So it is aware of it. It knows what changes needs to be done. It would start working towards that. So that's one premise that we have. Since I didn't know what kind of things that you would be working on, but we have something to share. I'll show you. I'll share this. Yes. Sorry. I'll share this in the group. And we'll work on these three things tomorrow: your inductions, deepness, suggestions, and awakenings. So I want you to, I'll share it tomorrow morning or tonight only. I want you to look at it and then go through the section where it says scripts, page 94 onwards. And I want you to choose for yourself, what would you like? What experience would you like to go through? And we'll do that tomorrow. So each one of you, I'll share the book, go through it, choose what you would like to go through. Because that's the true power of suggestions would be visible to you, because this would be something that you want to work on. And then, like this experience will club, we'll talk about, so whomsoever is open to opening the camera and going through the experience is most welcome. I'll give them the suggestions. I'll explain why it is working, how it is working. We'll talk about the, physically suggestible people, what kind of suggestions would work for them, what kind of suggestions would work for emotionally suggestible people. And then we'll keep evolving the practice there. Then we'll talk about various inductions. What are they? How to do that? And that is what it's going to be. As of now, any questions here? Yes.
और आज आपने जो एक्सरसाइज करवाई उसकी रिकॉर्डिंग मिलेगी क्या हमें?
हाँ जी, बिल्कुल मिलेगी सर।
हाँ, क्योंकि अभी ट्रैकर्स के डिस्टरबेंस की वजह से तक कंसंट्रेट कर नहीं पाए, तो मैं दिन में प्रैक्टिस कर लूंगा उसको सुन के।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल आप कर सकते हैं, कोई ऐसा नहीं। मैं कल सुबह ये अपलोड कर दूंगा और आपको 10-11 बजे तक मैं रिकॉर्डिंग दे दूंगा, कोई वो नहीं है।
ठीक है, ठीक, बढ़िया, थैंक यू।
तो आप उसे, ये मैं जब तक मैं YouTube पे लोड करता हूँ आप लोगों को वहां से लिंक दे दूंगा। जब तक आई थिंक YouTube रहेगा तब तक रिकॉर्डिंग रहेगी आपके पास, कोई ऐसी दिक्कत नहीं है।
हाँ,
YouTube
नहीं,
तो
वो तो हम सेव कर लेंगे, कोई दिक्कत नहीं।
हाँ बिल्कुल, YouTube जब बंद हो जाएगा तब का पता नहीं, लेकिन जब तक YouTube है तब तक रिकॉर्डिंग है आपके पास, वो कोई टेंशन नहीं है।
नहीं नहीं, कभी बेफिक्री वाली बात है।
ठीक है जी। तो मेरा लास्ट का 10-15 मिनट्स जो है आपका क्वेश्चन आंसर है। आई वुड एनकरेज यू टू आस्क, इफ मैंने कुछ क्लैरिफाई नहीं किया, यू वांट मी टू रिपीट समथिंग, यू वांट मी टू एक्सप्लेन एनीथिंग, आई वुड बी मोर देन हैप्पी टू डू दैट।
हाँ, मैं तो चाह रहा था वो कल आप कल ही कर रहे हैं क्या सेल्फ हिप्नोसिस वाला?
कौन सा वाला सर?
सेल्फ हिप्नोसिस।
सेल्फ हिप्नोसिस और दोनों सजेशंस जो हैं वो सारा डिस्कस करेंगे हम। जो मैंने आपको जो बुकलेट आज शेयर करूंगा, आप वो देखें, उसमें आप मुझसे कराना चाहते हैं या सेल्फ हिप्नोसिस करना चाहते हैं, कैसे करेंगे, हम सारा डिस्कस करेंगे।
और ये अफर्मेशंस स्पेशली रिगार्डिंग हेल्थ, ये भी आप इसमें दे रहे हैं क्या बुक में?
अफर्मेशंस की एक अलग बुक है, 50-60 अफर्मेशंस है, मैं वो अलग से शेयर कर दूंगा, कोई इशू नहीं है।
हाँ, चलिए, वो दैट विल हेल्प अस।
पर अफर्मेशंस के लिए मैं बोलता हूँ लुइस हे की बुक से अच्छी कोई बुक नहीं है।
अच्छा।
इफ यू कैन गेट योर हैंड्स ऑन द बुक, लुइस हे की किताब है, छोटी सी किताब है, 50-60 रुपए की होगी, 70 रुपए की होगी, आई डोंट नो। अब तो हम इंटरनेट पे हैं तो हम चेक भी कर सकते हैं। वैसे तो वेबसाइट पे भी फ्रीली अवेलेबल हैं अफर्मेशंस।
हाँ, वैसे तो खैर बहुत देखी है मैंने।
बट मेरी पर्सनल फेवरेट लुइस हे की है, दे आर प्रीटी गुड।
क्योंकि आपका एक्सपीरियंस काफी वास्ट है इस बारे में, तो नेचुरली आपकी सलाह बेहद अच्छी होगी।
नहीं सर, बस वो क्या कहते हैं कि मैं पहले से कर रहा हूं, बस यही अंतर है। तो थोड़ा सा एक्सपीरियंस मेरे को ये लगता है कि अ, अगर आप 3 महीने कर लें ध्यान से, तो आपका प्रॉब्ली जो लेवल आ जाता है वो 90% जो हिप्नोसिस्ट हैं दुनिया में उनसे ऊपर आ सकता है 3 महीने के अंदर,
अच्छा।
क्योंकि समहाउ इंडिया में एटलीस्ट अभी भी हम वही पढ़ा रहे हैं जो 70s में पढ़ाते थे।
बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हो आप। मैं कई 2-3 वेबिनार अटेंड की, वही रिपीट करते हैं ज्यादातर।
तो अब इतना रिसर्च हो गया, आप किसी भी चीज पे आप रिसर्च आप करो, हिप्नोसिस और ये क्लिनिकल रिसर्च, आपको इतना मिस रिसर्च मिलेगा।
हम्म।
स्टडीज हो रखी हैं, परसेप्शन चेंज हुए हैं, मोडालिटीज डिफरेंट हुई हैं, पर अभी भी हम वो पुराने स्टाइल में पढ़ाए जा रहे हैं लोगों को। यहाँ पे दुनिया खुश भी है उससे, पर ठीक है, क्या 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 कर सकते हैं। तो
नहीं नहीं, ठीक ठीक बात है, ठीक बात।
मेरा फोकस यही है कि आई बीन I still train, I still go to seminars, I still do classes from various teachers, क्योंकि आई थिंक सीखना तो कभी खत्म नहीं होता। कुछ ना कुछ
हाँ
कोई
नहीं, बहुत
सिखा।
बहुत। हाँ, ये बहुत पॉजिटिव एटीट्यूड है सर। मैं भी सीख ही रहा हूँ हर चीज। अभी बीच में मर्म चिकित्सा सीखी थी।
हाँ, दैट्स अनदर वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग, यस।
हाँ हाँ। टेंडेन टेंडेन ट्रीटमेंट था, वो भी मैंने अटेंड की, वेबिनार उसको भी।
तो कल हम स्पेसिफिकली जो भी आप डिजीज है, कोई इशू है, स्टेटस है, उसके बारे में बात करना चाहते हैं, विल डू दैट। एंड इफ यू वांट, वी विल यूज द सजेशन बुक्स, आई डू दैट सजेशन लाइव ऑन यू if you want to work on anything and explain कि कैसे हो रहा है, क्या हो रहा है। It's
Sir, I
going to
have a
be
doubt.
very, yes, please ask.
Like for a patient, for a regularly for a patient, how many sessions you take?
So I'll
Like
I'll,
for
I'll
example,
tell
if
you something.
like tell my example. Like if I have to lose 20 kgs, how many sessions should I do?
So let's say if you have to lose 20 kgs, and so I'll make two things very clear. Only hypnosis will not make you lose weight. It would to some extent help you lose weight where you're eating emotionally, because it'll regulate your emotions. It would change the way you associate with food. It can even do what we call a gastric band. So we can do a hypnotic gastric band. It'll reduce the intake of the food that you're taking in. If you want, we can do that tomorrow with you. But
So like it's like
in the
yeah, tell
end,
me.
it has to be the same science: input, output, deficit.
Yeah. But it's like for me, like with exercise also, like I lose but I gain back. Like it's like, and as you told, emotional eating is there. Stress though I'll eat more, and what, like yeah, regulation of eating is very important. Exercise तो करती हूँ, and it's like I don't want to, like consciously I want to lose the weight, but somewhere else there is a block in the mind is what I
Yeah,
feel.
there's so many blocks. I'll tell you. Uh, don't leave food on the plate.
Hmm.
How many times we have been told when we were,
Yeah,
right?
never waste food.
Never waste
That's
food.
one thing.
Whatever is on the
Like
plate,
abhi
you have.
bhi, हाँ, if my child wastes things, it's like I have to eat that.
Exactly.
How to waste
Because
it?
that's your relationship with the food. And then how many times you've known that if you won't eat roti or you won't eat chawal, you'll not be healthy. Eat dal.
Yeah.
And if you're
हाँ.
vegetarian, then that is a mindset you have. So
Hmm.
there's so many food related things happening over a period of time, years that we have. And then, of course, every time we are a little bit emotionally upset, we eat.
Yeah.
So we control those. So for somebody who's trying to lose weight and not able to lose weight and would include hypnosis, the chances would go by 70 to 80% up that they would reduce.
Hmm.
But of course, it has
And there is,
a compliment.
yeah, and there is something like I felt like being a clinician. I know that the I eat and there is inflammation in my body, like a lot of water retention. It's like there is an internal struggle, and my body is trying to protect me with all the fat. So why I have to get rid of. Then only the other parameters will work.
Exactly. Exactly. So once we start giving those suggestions, it'll work out. So we'll talk about, as Subhash ji was saying, we'll talk about self hypnosis also. कैसे करते हैं उसको, दूसरों पे कैसे करेंगे, suggestions book का, and then we'll do that. So no worries on that.
Yeah.
As far as I am concerned, if you are all willing to undergo something, we'll do on all three of, or all four of you, or all five of you, no problems at all. Because my objective is that until unless you experience it yourself, you'll not be able to convince others ki how good it is.
Yeah.
So that experience would only come when we do it here. Great. So see you at 7:30 tomorrow. And I'll say,
Yeah.
if you really want to enjoy the sessions, have the cameras open, because it's interactive. I don't preach. I would do more practicals than anything else.
Okay.
Great. Then see you tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Perfect. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.